gangster.
One more time, I'm gonna blast that.
But I'm supposed to be scared now because you got a pistol, motherfucker.
Hey, that G Jack, come on. That's Kane and Harold, man.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Joe Chapo back in the building. Another edition of If They Only Knew. As always, we got your boy Man Light out in the hill. What up, man?
Yo, what's good, everybody? All my talkers, make sure we hit that subscribe, share, like, comment, and make sure you forget that bell, fill that bell up all the way. Get our videos first thing smoking.
Yo, man. Yo, we got a super special guest today. Not only a great story for the channel, but this is somebody we consider a friend. I think we met for the first time. What, fifth grade? Was it fifth grade? I think it was
fifth grade.
Woo. So this is super special to me, and we're just gonna keep going forward. Please introduce yourself.
So hello everyone, my name is VIGIE Diaz and I'm a United States Marine. I grew up in Bronx, New York, single mom because my dad passed away when I was 4. We lived on Undercliff for most of the time that I was there, and then we moved to Cedric and Tremont. If you know where Roberto Clemente State Park is, that's where our school was, and that's where we met. 229. Wonderful place.
I'm hearing it. Hold on, I'm gonna have to stop this. Hold on. Is somebody playing something? Shh. Damn. I feel like there's something playing in the background. Somebody, you got something else playing? No? All right, well, for you then. All right, well, let's kind of slow it down a little, VG. You threw a lot out there. Let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, and how you came up, and what made you decide to join the military.
So, Bronx, New York, by way of Puerto Rico, which most Puerto Ricans do. So both parents Puerto Rican. Yep. Let's see. After high school, I was looking for something to do. I knew college was not going to be it because I wasn't mentally or mature enough for college. So I always loved the Marine Corps. Loved the uniform.
Did you?
Love what they stood for. It was just. You can put every branch together and you see the uniform, and the Marine Corps uniform stands out as sharp.
Yeah.
They
do got nice uniform. They do. The Army got some cool Class A's. The Army has some good Class A's, but the Marines, they do have the best uniform. I give them that. Yeah. That is sharp. I had a bunch of cousins.
I am an Army brat. My dad was Army. My grandfather was Army. Most of my family's Army, but
You went against the grain?
Yes. I wanted the hardest. I wanted the toughest, so I could brag for the rest of my life that I'm a United States Marine.
That's dope. Well, so did you already have the mindset of what you wanted to be in the military? Like which direction you wanted to go? Or is that something you learned as you got in there?
So the funny thing about that was my mom got remarried and had 2 more kids. I didn't get along with my stepdad because he was still this day, he's still a jackass. And I don't wish him anything ill, but I don't really care for him. And I couldn't stay at home. So when I went and saw the recruiter, he's like, well, if you give me a couple of months, I can get you a job. I said, I need to leave right now. And if you can't get me out of here, I'm going to go someplace that can get me out of here quick. So he said, okay, you sure you want to go open contract? I said, sure. So what open contract means that you don't have a job. So you go to basic training, you go to the extended training, and right when you finish your Marine combat training, they tell you, hey, this is where the Marine Corps is going to send you to go to school so you can learn this trade. So thank God I wasn't a cook, because that's the one thing I didn't want to do.
Yeah, you could end up shoveling coals in the bottom somewhere.
No offense to
Jeez.
cooks, but that was not what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to do administration either because that's literally sitting in a building just doing paperwork all day.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
lucky enough to actually get a field radio operator job. And I found out in 29 Palms, I went to 29 Palms for training. I found out when I was in North Carolina during my training. They came out and they said, hey, guess what? You're going to 29 Palms, California. I said, sure. California sounds cool. Till you
Yeah.
get there, they don't tell you that you're going to the desert, that there's nothing there on the base except for like 12 buildings, and that's it.
Wow.
And you get to learn that if you go to war, your life expectancy is very low because you have this antenna sticking out of your pack. That just makes you a nice
Yes.
target.
Yes. I was gonna have it real quick if you could explain to the people, what that job entails.
So being a field radio operator means you're a grunt with a pack on your back. So everything that the grunts do, which is go forward and, take care of things and clear areas, you get to do it with this nice 80-pound pack on your back with this antenna sticking out. So everybody and their mama knows where you are because there's
Yeah.
communications. If we take communications down, then we can
Yeah.
really hurt them. Because we have a motto, it's communicate or die. Without communications, you don't get fire, you don't get support, you don't get supplies, you don't get food, you don't get anything. So yeah, it was interesting. You learn Morse code because that was part of it back then. Now they don't teach Morse code, but you get to learn how to literally take a radio out there, FM radio. You have to learn how to load it with crypto, and you've got to make it communicate no matter what, because that's your lifeline.
So did you know did they teach you how to like if something went wrong with it to fix it, like the ins
You
and
have
outs
to
of it as well?
troubleshoot it. Yes. Oh yes. You have to
Oh,
learn everything. You got to
I
remember.
can't even imagine just carry this big ass
Imagine.
antenna around, like what?
Imagine that this piece of gear is what will get you out of a danger zone. So not only
Hmm.
do you have to know how to use it properly and communicate and know how to troubleshoot it, if it breaks down, you better have the tools to put it together and make it work.
Oh God,
Because
that's a
it's
lot of
communicate or
responsibility,
die.
man. That's a lot of
Well, the
responsibility.
responsibility is even worse because it's not just you. You've got 30, 40
Yeah.
other people that
Yeah.
you are their lifeline. They need
God, yeah.
combat, they need combat support. You need to get those missiles coming. You need to get mortar rounds in. You better know your coordinates. You have to learn how to land map. You got to read a map and know where to tell them to shoot and where to tell them to drop. Because you don't want them to drop it on you. That would
Yeah.
be a bad thing.
Dang. Damn. So let me ask you this. Do they have contingencies in place? Like, God forbid, if something was to happen to you, is there somebody else that's a backup that comes
There's
in and
always
picks the
someone
pack up?
else. There's someone else that knows how to communicate, but they may not know how to do everything you do. So they keep you alive. You're shielded to a point.
Damn. But
Because
how can you
without
hide with this
you,
big antenna? Like,
you learn to camouflage.
technology should be a little bit better now, with this damn big ass
Well,
car antenna
yeah,
on your book bag.
they're a little bit
Like
better.
technology.
They're a little bit better, but satellite radios are not as reliable as regular antennas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even with our technology, I mean, yeah, a satellite phone will work, but you can't use a satellite phone to call in for air support. And the antennas have gotten better. Now you can actually have the antenna strapped around your arm and it'll go the length of your arm. So it's a little more concealed. But that's where camouflage goes in.
Yeah.
That's when you learn to use your surroundings. So the only bad part is if you're in the desert, there's no cover, no concealment. There's nothing. You are just out there. You can have camo netting, you
Yeah.
can have,
Yeah.
one of your vehicles, but that's it. There's nothing because desert is just dirt and sand and nothingness. So
So,
in a jungle warfare, which is what we're mainly, you know, what we were mainly used to before Iraq happened, and before 91 happened, it it's still pretty pretty bad when it comes to it. When it comes to communications, you still need them. Can't do anything without it, but we're not as advanced as we should be.
Mm. Mm.
so, so after training, I mean, did they ship you off somewhere or?
So after 29 Palms, which was the first time I actually experienced a sandstorm.
Oh yeah,
Um,
God.
yes, sandstorms are the worst thing in the world,
Mm.
but I got to experience them there. From there, I went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. That was my first duty station. Um, I will tell you, when I got there, coming from New York City, going
Mm.
to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, which is the armpit of the U.S. The town, when I got there in 98, there was nothingness. Like, the town was closed by 10 p.m. There were no stores open. There was no Walmart. There was nothing. There was a Taco Bell and there was a gas station and a McDonald's.
Oh my
I
God.
was
That was
so
the whole
depressed.
town.
I
Jeez.
cried for like a week. I said, "Oh my God, what did I get myself into?" There's nothing here. Like, nothingness. Like, to see the town. And then, of course, grew up in New York City. I didn't get my driver's license till I was 23. So I didn't have a
Yeah,
car.
same here.
All I had
Mm.
was my two legs to walk everywhere, but
Mm.
there's nowhere to walk because there's no sidewalks. There was
Mm.
no store you can go to. There was nothing, like, literally
Oh
nothingness.
my God.
I would come out of my
Well,
room because you live in like a dorm style room. You share a bathroom with your neighbor, but you have your own room. And
yeah.
you would walk out because it was open. So you'd walk out and you look out. The lights are dimmer. It looks darker. It was just so
Oh my God. Sound like a damn torture camp,
yeah,
yeah.
it was. And then a few months
What
later,
was
they
the
opened up a
point of
Walmart.
what
They
was
opened
the
up a
point of
Walmart.
being in the
So,
middle of nowhere? Like why? Why? Like
like,
Jesus, yeah.
well, it's training.
It's
That's
not
what
like
you
nobody
know.
can miss this big base, yeah. See,
Trust me,
that's
that
crazy.
to hit that base would be very difficult because
Mm.
there is so much protection everywhere.
Mm.
Mm.
And from the gate to get to people, you've got a good 15, 20 miles before you hit people.
Wow.
So that's 15, 20
Damn.
miles of guarded area. Most
Wow.
Damn.
Marine Corps bases are like that.
Wow.
It grew. I mean, now I've heard that, it's grown a lot more, but back then it was a rough place for, a New York City girl that's used to the bodegas open till 24
Mm.
hours. It's 2:30 in the morning. You want a Cuban, you just go down the street and you can have one there. And it was like, oh my God. So
Yeah. Torture.
it was.
Oh man. So all right, so you got your training. They
Yep.
ship you to the middle of nowhere for a little bit more torture. Uh, what was, I mean, you said that was 98, so you went into 2011, the
Yep.
um,
So from there, I was part of the
unfortunate attack.
yeah, I was part of the first females. Before then, I was part of the first females in 1998, 99 to go on the first Marine Corps Expeditionary Unit, the 26 MEU. So 26 Marine Corps Expeditionary Unit, we actually live on a ship on a naval vessel, which was the USS Kearsarge, for 6 months. And you go from Norfolk, Virginia, we took off all the way to the Mediterranean. So our first stop was Rota, Spain. From Spain, we went to Kosovo. That was my first conflict that I was involved in. We had to provide communications and humanitarian support. And then from there, we were supposed to go to a fun place like Barcelona for the running of the bulls.
Mm.
Didn't happen. Because in that time, Turkey was hit with a devastating earthquake. We were the closest
Mm.
unit out there, so we went out there to actually provide humanitarian relief, set up tent cities, and help as much as we could to get people to safety. Guess where we slept? We slept on a flight deck. Have you ever slept on a runway? I can say I have.
Mm.
That is some hard
Damn.
concrete. That is some very hard.
Shit. Yeah. I bet you was like, yo, I wish I was in that camp again. In the middle of nowhere. Like
Yes and
shit.
no, because you know it was satisfying and it was humbling to see these people that had nothing, and these tents that we normally use when we go to the field, and we would complain about the tents, and we would be like, why do we have to put them up, why do we this, why do we that, and these people, we couldn't put them up fast enough for them to move in with their families. They had absolutely
Damn.
nothing. There were vans coming around, and people were literally using their shirts to get grain, rice, just to get food because they didn't have anything. They were giving out clothes. I mean, these people had absolutely nothing because the buildings, all of them, they were inhabitable. They were cracked in half. There were still people missing. It was humbling
Mm.
to see. It was heartbreaking, but it made me, and I was only 22 at the time, and
Mm.
it was humbling to see. It was like, wow. And I complain about what I have at home and about Camp Lejeune that has
Mhm.
nothing there. It's like these people really have nothing. Guess
Mm.
what happens overseas? You know how we're used to having these nice, wonderful toilets. You go to the bathroom, you sit, you flush, and you wipe, and everything's nice, right?
Mm.
They have a hole in the ground, literally a hole.
Mm.
There's no toilet seat. There's no nothing. So guess what you have to have? Very strong thigh muscles because you've got to hump. And they
Oh
don't
my
even have
God.
Oh
toilet
my
paper. They
god.
have a hose. Okay.
Oh man. Yo. I'm like, nah, man. Nah. I need some what it is, what type of paper? I don't care.
Hey, actually, I wanted to ask you because you just said you was one of the first few, the first woman to actually get on one of these. How was the
First
politics?
enlisted.
How was the politics like as far as women that was in the military at that time? Was it still was it one way? Like, did they respect the women? Like,
Male dominated.
yeah, like how was it?
It always has been. So the Marine Corps is a man's world. It is a boys' Marine Corps. Even though it's changed now, back then it wasn't. It was, you're a female, you have to do 150% just to be considered you're doing okay.
Mm,
So females are always looked down upon. At least during that time it was rough. You had to excel in everything. You could not have an off day. You had to literally bust your ass 24/7. You had to be on your P's and Q's. And God forbid you were trying to be nice or be sweet. That didn't happen. You had to be badder and bigger than anybody else.
mm,
And to be considered enough, or to have someone say, yeah, I want to work with her because she's got her shit together and she knows what she's going to do, and you really have to prove yourself.
mm.
So it was an uphill battle all the time. There was no slack time. There was no, oh, I got my period and I got cramps, I can't go run 5 miles today. No, it's like you better get up and you better
Mm.
run faster and you better get there before the rest of them do.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. I mean, you're still
and
a young adult at this time too. That's a lot to deal with. Like, you making your mark, you
mhm.
breaking ground. Like, you got to be better than the dude next to you. God,
Yep.
that like the obstacles, Jesus.
Oh, and there's obstacle courses that, you have to, okay, put it like this. I'm only 5'7" and a half. That's my height. And most of these obstacles are made for men who are at least 6 feet tall. So that's holding your own weight by your fingertips half of the time.
Mm.
But you better hang on, and you better hang on longer than the guy next to you.
Hmm.
So you break your body
That's
down.
crazy.
You really
Yeah, I'm
do
sure.
break your
I'm
body
sure.
down. But I enjoyed
So,
it because, of course, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from the Bronx. I'm going to represent. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm from the Bronx. And you're not going to knock me down because you better bring a
exactly.
whole freaking truck to get me down.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And
That's dope, man.
yep.
That's Fiji. Fiji. The people don't. I don't think they understand. I remember VG from the 6th grade. It's been years. So to even hear that you're doing all this is mind blowing. So let me
Oh,
ask you
yeah.
this.
So,
You know, were you involved in anything when 9/11 hit? What was it like, being in the service at that time? I know it was. Ooh,
so 9/11, I was actually at home here in Florida, at my mom's house in Ocala when she lived in Ocala. I live in Orlando now. But I was actually 3 months pregnant. My ex-husband now, my husband at the time was in Okinawa, Japan, because we were supposed to both
uh,
go, but he left in July, and I was due to leave September 13th. That was my ship out date to Okinawa, Japan. I found out I was pregnant August 19th, and when 9/11 hit, I was actually at my mother's house watching it on the news. The devastation was it was the hardest thing ever because from where I used to live, I could see the Twin Towers every morning when I opened up my door to walk out of my house. That was my view. And not only did the towers come down and everything went to shit, but about 8.5 months later, after my daughter was 8.5 months, when they said, "Guess what? We're going." I came. It was so funny because I was Christmas time. I came to Florida to visit my mom, and I went back, and they tell me, "Did you leave your daughter in Florida?" And I was like, "Why would I leave my daughter in Florida?" They're like, "We're
yeah.
deploying." I was like, "Say what?"
Wow.
Because guess what? In the military, you get 6 months of not deploying
Yeah.
after you have a child. After those 6 months, the Marine Corps tells you, "We didn't issue you a husband, we didn't issue you a child." Guess what? Uncle Sam says you're going. Pack up your stuff, make your arrangements. You're going. So I
That's so
called my
crazy.
mom and I was like, "Ma, I need a favor." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Can you stay with Lena while I go deploy off to war?" And she's like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, of course, sure." So then I had to rush, get everything, got my daughter back to Florida with my mom, got all the paperwork. I had to get my daughter an ID card because she's military, dual military. So February 14th of 2003 was the day we left to go to Iraq. Worst Valentine's Day and best Valentine's Day, I guess. I don't know how to take it. But when President Bush declared war for those 3 days, we were in country. We were already there. So
Damn.
I was part of the first line of defense of Marines that went out there when the president declared war in 2003. We were there when we went. We went with no return date. So
Wow.
usually when military people deploy, it's 12 months, 6 months,
Yeah.
18 months, and you know when you're coming back. They
Yeah.
told us, they said you can be out there a year to 3 years before you return home to see your family. I left an
That's
eight and a half
crazy.
month old. We were out
That's
there for 9 months. and we came in hot. It was the first. I'm glad that, the Marines, we actually train the way we fight. So we trained for all of this. But can you imagine? I had just left my baby. I was
Yeah.
still breastfeeding when I left her. And we get there. The pilot, before we landed, the pilot said, I have to turn off all interior lights. We need you to be as quiet as you can be. Get yourself ready. That means have your pack ready to go. Get your seatbelt, get your weapons and everything, and be as quiet as a mouse. The only lights that will be on the plane are going to be the emergency lights because we're coming in hot. And we took an actual commercial flight because we couldn't get our military planes in there because they were shooting them down.
Wow.
You come in, you land. As soon as that plane hit, like literally as soon as, not like a regular plane that you get on and the pilot says maintain the seatbelt lights, are still on, please stay in your seats. No, it wasn't like that. So it was as soon as the wheels touched the ground, unbuckle, get your gear on.
Mm.
As soon as the plane stopped, we were literally running down the stairs. Now, if you've ever had to climb the stairs to get on a commercial plane, it is high up there. We are coming running down. Now, mind you, they said just follow the white tape. So engineering tape glows in the dark. It's like if any little light hits it, you can pick it up. They said grab your gear,
Yeah.
grab your weapons, and start running down. Don't worry about anything. Don't stop. Just keep running through till you get to the end. So have your ID card ready. ID card left breast pocket of your uniform. Take it out. They checked you in. They said, welcome in country. Keep running that way. That was
You don't
my
have no
welcome to
time to
Iraq.
think about anything.
No, it is reaction time. Then we got on these little Haji vans, was what we called them, because they're only supposed to be for like 6-passenger vans. We had about 12 Marines in there. And they had curtains on the windows. We had a native driving. And literally, he is taking, okay, if you've ever driven in the desert, that vehicle was just, so you're just sliding from side to side. You've got your weapon at the ready. All you hear is pop, 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 as you're coming through. And that was welcome to Iraq. And then never let up on the way out was the same thing. So when I was there for 9 months. Every day your life was at stake. Every day you woke up, you saw the sunrise, you were thankful for that. You got to eat breakfast, drink your coffee. That was like the highlight of the day. You prayed that you were able to eat your lunch because that meant that you made it to lunch. When you ate lunch, it was dinner time. You were thankful that you got to see the stars and you got to eat dinner. And you prayed that you made it through the night, however many hours you got to sleep, which were not much. You were thankful for that. And you woke up and you did that the same thing every day. There was one
So,
unfortunate day that we went out on a convoy. Like I said, field radio operator. And I was a driver. Because, of course, I had my driver's license by then. So, because us New Yorkers, what do you need one for?
yeah, I know.
I was a Humvee driver, and we were driving, and it was a convoy. It was only about a 5-vehicle convoy. It wasn't a large one. I was the last vehicle. I had a trailer, which meant I was pulling something, and I had a generator attached. So my vehicle was the longest to go. On this faithful day, one of the vehicles breaks down and the radio is not working. I was the end vehicle. So that means if anybody breaks down, I stay with them until help comes. I couldn't tow them because I was already towing two other things. So I go to try to fix the vehicle, park my vehicle with enough distance. You know, normally you get out of your vehicle, there's a vehicle in front, you just get out and you walk forward.
Yeah.
Because God is so good, and my mom was praying, and everybody's mother was praying for all military people. I got out of my vehicle, put my pack on. I walked. I It was really weird because I walked all the way behind the vehicle. I remember one of my flaps was off on my trailer, so I grabbed the flap, I fixed it. And in my mind, this whole time, I'm thinking, why am I actually walking all the longest way to get to this vehicle that's right in front of me? But I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I'm going to be obedient and do what I need to do. I'm not going to go against the grain. Let me just go this way. So I'm going. When I get around to the front of my vehicle, right before I get to that vehicle, the worst sound in the world that you hear is incoming. It's like that swoosh sound.
Mm.
And I don't remember anything else because the next thing I remember, it's sand everywhere. I couldn't see. I couldn't really hear. And I've got one of my Marines on top of me shaking me. Are you okay? And it's like the hearing came back, and all you see is the blast of sand everywhere. You're hearing just gunfire everywhere. And it's like your body takes 2 seconds, reacts, you go right into action. We have been hit. Thank goodness we had help that wasn't too far behind. And we lost some people that day, unfortunately. Marines don't leave people or bodies behind.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what that was like.
Mm.
On that faithful day, little did I know, because your adrenaline's pumping and you feel nothing because your body's completely numb. When we got back to base, I went to see the doctor, which wasn't even a doctor. We had a corpsman there, which is just a nurse.
Mm.
And I told him, I said, my back hurts so bad. Like, it's really painful. I had my pack on my back. Well, it broke. We didn't find out till 2 years later that I had two broken bones in my lower spine.
Shit.
So this is the deal, right? Because this was 2003, the beginning of the war. We're
Yeah.
short radio operators. We're short-handed vehicle drivers. So my commander comes in and he says, I can send you to Germany and get you checked out, but we're going to be even shorter staffed. Now, what's a Bronx girl going to do? Give me something for the pain and I'll deal with it. Because I wasn't going to have that in my conscience. I was not going to leave my Marines
So
and
you're
go
sitting there
back to
with
base.
two broken bones in your spine, you said?
Yeah, my lower
And
back.
you go right back out there with this 80-pound backpack on, putting the pressure on your spine?
Yep, with the pain, excruciating pain, and popping Motrins like it was Andy. Because is what you do.
Damn.
Because it's
That's
what you signed up for. It's what you love. And the survivor's guilt is bad enough. But adding that, if I would have left and I would have heard that somebody else died or somebody, which people did die, but I was there. So they didn't die because I wasn't there.
yeah.
And they do brainwash you in the Marine Corps. I will admit it. They do. It's God, core, and country. That's our motto: God, core, country. So it's
Mm.
God, the Marine Corps, and then our country. That's what we stand for. And so I stayed. Um, It wasn't till I want to say about 3 months later that they said, hey, we can finally send some people back. They don't tell you how to come back home.
Yeah.
They don't tell you what it's like. You're so used to living day to day where you're here today and you don't know. You eat breakfast and you're happy to eat lunch. You eat lunch, you're happy to eat dinner. You go to sleep and you pray that you wake up because, of course, they're firing at us at night. And then you come home and you got to deal with the quiet. And then you got to deal with the pain. And it's not only the pain of losing people, it's your own internal pain and it's your own internal everything.
Did
And
you
now
feel
you have to.
guilty for leaving people behind?
No, because when I left, there was enough people to take over. We weren't short staffed anymore. So it was okay. You know, we came back. I came back advanced party. And then the rest of my unit came a few months later. Uh, the hard part was just dealing with being back. Your family expects the same person that left. Your family expects a person that they grew up with, the person that they know. And you're not that anymore. You're not that person anymore. You're the things that are a big deal to them is not a big deal to you because you've literally faced life and death every day. And then now you're back and nobody understands except those that were there with you. And now you got to be a mom and you got to be a wife and you got to be a homemaker and you got to be a Marine that's back from the war with these people that have not been there. They haven't done that. They don't
Yeah.
understand why you blow up out of nowhere for nothing. They don't understand why, you know, if you hear a ticking sound, it freaks you out and you're like, what the hell is that? And you're freaking out about nothing to them, but that was your life.
Yeah.
So in 2005, I finally had a doctor properly diagnose me. They did an MRI, they did a CT scan, and the doctor tells me, you need to go and see the specialist. Because if not, if you don't have surgery, you're going to lose the ability to walk.
Shit.
What? I was like, I have a 2-year-old. I can't not be like that. That just can't happen.
Yeah.
So I went and they told me, yeah, you can have surgery in 6 months. You'll be back to normal. You'll be able to run, jump, and do everything. Yeah. 6 months later, they're like, sorry, we're going to have to give it another 6 months. So all in all, from my L5 to my S1, I have a spinal fusion. So my whole lower spine is one piece because it's been segmented together. And they told me that it's a miracle that I did not lose the ability to walk because my actual my spinal cord was not encased anymore. So if any of the bones that were there, any of the bone chips would have nicked it, I would have been paralyzed from the waist down.
And that was just from the explosion itself. There wasn't like nothing flying, no debris. That was just from the explosion.
That was from the explosion and falling on my pack. My
yeah.
pack that was what I needed to communicate was what broke my back, pretty much.
Jesus. And then you still had to carry the thing that broke your back around every day.
Yep, and I still have it till this day.
I could imagine.
I still have my pack. And it's rough. getting used to everything and dealing with society the way they look at you because you're a female. Oh, you're a Marine? Really? Like, what did you do?
Hmm.
What didn't I do is what I want to tell them. It's like, you
Yeah.
name it. I'm a weapons instructor. I was a field radio operator. I did admin duties. You name it, I've done it. So then the sad part is for the military, when you can no longer do your job the way they want you to do it,
Hmm.
because I can't run 10 miles. I can't even run 3 miles right now.
Yeah.
Can't run, can't jump, can't, I mean, I can shoot, but that's about as much as I can possibly do.
Yeah.
They tell you, guess what? We're going to medically retire you.
Hmm.
And they say, thank you for your service. Here
Mm,
you
mm.
go. Now
So,
you have to go
That's
live in the civilian world.
I mean, so when they medically retire you, what, like in terms, what do that like means? Like to get more clear.
Yeah. So when you're medically retired, it means that you don't get a full retirement as if you did 20 years, because I was only at 15. It's the Marine Corps. So because they break our bodies down so badly, they don't tell you that, hey, guess what? We're only giving you 70% of
mm.
pay for you to live on. Nobody can live on that. Can you live on $1,200 a month?
Nah,
Hell
hell
no.
no.
Not back
Jesus.
then and not now. So they give you that and they say thank you
That's
very
so
much.
disrespectful.
And you go on your merry way.
That's so disrespectful, man.
Yes.
I'm sorry, man.
It
That's
is.
disrespectful, man. Like that's a slap in the face, man. Because it's just like it's a job, right? At the end of the day, so you go, that's like I'm getting hurt at the job, and you telling me, thank you for giving me all these years of service, putting your life on the line,
Thank you
and
for your blood, sweat, and tears. And
Yeah.
here's a piece of paper. Bye. Yeah. And go to
15
the
years of your
VA.
life.
Yeah.
So what was it?
So
What was the feeling like when you found out you was being medically discharged? Did you feel like they turned their back on you? Did you feel empty not having this to go back to? Because remember, you said the civilian life really wasn't
to be
for you in a
honest,
sense.
I will tell you, I was heavily medicated because after my
Yeah.
surgery, let me tell you the cocktail they had me on. I was on morphine,
Oh,
Percocet, and
oh.
Valium 3 times a day.
it's like addiction.
He's a
It's like an
zombie.
addiction. That's an addiction right there. It's hard to get off
That's
those meds.
that's a cocktail for addiction. Wow.
So I had to wean myself off of that because I was like, okay, I know that I have pain, but I can't take all these medications and be able to function. Because I will tell you,
Yeah.
I don't remember the first year and a half after my surgery because I was so out of it. So now you have to learn to deal with the pain because the pain meds are not going to help. The pain meds are just going to numb everything to include your brain. So, they lie to us. Okay. They lie to us in the military. They tell you when you get out, just go to the VA. You'll get a job right away. That's a lie. Like the biggest lie in the world. So you go to the VA, right? You say, hey, I'm medically retired and can I get a job? You know what they tell you? Do you have any degrees? No, I was too busy doing my job to go to
Yeah.
school because I was a field radio operator. So I spent most of my time either out in the field or deployed overseas somewhere. So no, they're like, well, go get a few degrees and then you can come back and let's see. Let's talk about it. So with because of when I got blown up, I also have what's called a TBI, which is brain trauma. The brain is the one area that does not recover ever. So I have trouble with remembering things from the past. There's certain things that I can remember really clearly, but there's others that are really, really fuzzy. and it makes me angry when people are like, "Don't you remember that?" Like my mom, I love my mom,
Like,
but she
no.
used to do that a lot. She's like, "But don't you remember? Come on, you've always had such a great memory." I was like, "Yeah," till I got freaking blown up and my brain doesn't work the same. So I get severe migraines from it, and I have my pain scale from my back hurting. It's usually about a 9.5 to a 10 daily. If it's inclement weather, so if it's raining, if it's cold, if it's snowing, that's why I can't live in a cold weather.
Yeah.
My pain level's at like a 20. And it sucks to be in that much pain.
Oh, sure.
It sucks when you sit on the toilet and you can't get back up. You got to call somebody to help you get back up because your legs just went numb and you were only there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So getting used to all that, of course, I got divorced after coming back from the war because my husband and I were not in sync, let's say. He couldn't understand because he was upset because how come you got deployed and I didn't, and I'm the grunt and you're the radio operator. I'm like, because they needed radio operators more than they needed people with a gun because they had plenty of those.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
So
through all
he
that,
actually had a little resentment for that. Like, I
oh
mean, you
yeah,
didn't
he
have
was very
the
resentful.
choice. It
He was
wasn't like
very
you made the
resentful.
decision for that.
He was resentful. It was like, why you and not me? I'm like, okay, now we're going to measure egos? Sure. Okay. You know what? This is not going to work.
Yeah.
You go your way, I'm going mine. And let's just call it at that.
The crazy thing is, he's military, so he should understand more than anybody else.
Try putting yourself in a man's shoes. Your wife just
Yeah. Oh, I already know.
literally
Yeah.
outmaneuvered everything. She outdid everything that you could possibly do. And you got left
Yeah.
behind. And she went. It's very
Yeah.
hard for that male ego
Yeah.
to kind
Yeah.
of take that in. It's like,
Especially he still was a
That's
little young at the
why.
time too, right? He was like
Yeah.
still in his 20s, right? At that, yeah, we usually don't grow until we about 30. But
Yeah.
being honest, you know what I'm saying? It takes us to our 30s for us to really
Yeah.
understand,
Yeah.
as a man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I concur.
oh, yeah.
I concur. Damn,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, he was in his early, no. Yeah, because I was like 20, 26, 27 when this happened. So, yeah, no, he was not happy. He was not supportive. He would actually write me emails and like want to start an argument. I am at war, and the only communication I get is you want to freaking argue because I'm in the fucking desert and you're not. I can trade
Argue
places,
with Uncle
no
Sam,
problem.
yo. What the fuck? Argue with
Yeah.
Uncle Sam. Why are you arguing? That's
I was like,
stupid.
look, it's not my
That's
problem that you're not calm. So it's not my communication.
Hey,
I'm
I
communication.
don't know if you can speak on it, but have you ever seen any? I always heard the term war crimes, right? And I don't know what it really contains of. Have you ever seen any war crimes
I
out?
didn't, I will say I didn't see any war crimes. I understand how they can happen. Imagine, okay, let me put it to you this way. Imagine somebody comes into your house and beats up your family,
yeah.
and they're not coming back from what happened. They're never going to be the same from what happened. And then you catch the person that actually committed the crime. And then you tell me about war crimes.
Mm.
It is very difficult to keep that separation
Yeah, I could
because your heart's still there.
yeah, like because I could imagine, right? Like your situation you're going through, and then you just feel some type of hatred because this is the enemy who you fighting. You understand what I'm saying? And then you get an opportunity. If they didn't pull their gun out first, you have the opportunity to get payback. You understand what I'm saying? And I know y'all have to follow they pull they weapons out first or shoot first, and then that's when y'all shoot. Like, that's why the military is not probably for people like myself, because I probably would have committed major war crimes. Like, I would have been, they'd have had me in the middle, like I would have been under the jail.
Yeah.
Because that's, I just been opening firing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me, and I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's really hard? We had to stop fighting and stop shooting when they had their prayer time. For prayers, we had to stop.
Wow.
But they didn't stop to let us sleep. They didn't stop to let us sleep. But we had to stop when they were praying, because that's our Geneva Convention.
Wow.
That's our rules of engagement.
That's crazy.
You must be fired upon before you can return fire. And it must come in your direction. It's not only you hear it, it has to come in your direction.
It can't be a snap. It got to be like a pop. I think whatever terminology they use, it can't be like a pew. It's too far. That's not for you. You got to hear like a pop. That's when you can fire.
Yes. But you know what the worst thing of it all is? Their rules of engagement are very different than ours. We protect our young. We protect our children, right? We go to battle for our kids. They use kids as weapons.
Yeah.
Towards us.
And that's definitely, you can't shoot a kid being at war. I mean, I don't know, you know, that's part of, but that's a hard choice. Oh my God, man.
So can you imagine when you're being fired upon
by
children? Who do you see? You see your child, you see your cousins, you see your nephews, your nieces. That's why we have such bad PTSD. That's why so many of us commit suicide, because they can't live with the pictures in their head that never go away. Never goes away. You close your eyes and you see the horrors of war. But
so,
on another note,
well, I was going to ask you, how are you able to kind of, you know, recover from? Well, I know you can't fully recover, but how are you able to maintain? Is there something you found that made it a little bit easier?
Prayer, God, because that's the only. That is the only thing that can help you get through day to day. I used to go to my chaplain every time before I had to leave base when we were out there, and I would tell him, I need you to bless me, and I need my last rites, because if I die, I want to make sure that I'm right with God when I go. And just the faith and holding on to it and knowing that it is a job and I am trying to help someone. Don't know who, because we're still trying to figure that out. It was a senseless war, which we lost a lot of lives. And a lot of people may disagree with me when I say that it was senseless, but we lost a lot of people. And the ones that came back did not come back right. Because you can't come back right from that.
Because they were sending kids and young adults out there.
I had 18-year-olds. 18-year-olds. 18. They had not even seen life.
Nothing.
Before they gave up their life for this country. So that's why I take offense when people take our flag for granted. When people trash talk our military. You don't know what we sacrificed. If you weren't there, you don't know. So people should not open up their mouths. Because we sacrifice more than anybody else is willing to do. Because it's part of our lives forever.
So, do you know is there any organizations or anything that if anybody, you know, that's watching this is going through that they could kind of refer to?
Yes.
Or,
The VA now has an 800 number to help with, it's a veteran crisis line. You can go to just Google VA crisis line, the number comes up. Semper Fi Fund is one for Marines that helps out. There's Wounded Warriors. They also help. There's a few organizations out there that are really good and they do help. If you see someone in their military and they're hurting, just try to be understanding and get them help. If there's
yeah,
someone, because unfortunately, military people tend to suffer in silence because nobody understands us. And then they send you to the VA to some doctor that's never been anywhere, never done anything, and he thinks that he can fix you with a couple of pills. I don't need
yeah,
pills. I need a way to deal with what I've seen, what I've done, what's happened to me, and what I feel. Because till this day, a broken down car on the side of the road makes my skin crawl.
yeah,
My heart rate goes up. Hypo alert. Bags on the side of the road, trash bags. I'm scanning everything everywhere. I never sit with my back to the door because it drives me bonkers. I need to see. I walk into a place, I know where every exit is, and I know where I can hide if I need to duck and cover. That's not a really way to live, but that's how
yeah.
I've had to learn, and I've had to adjust, and I've had to teach my family. Look, this is what it is. So now my family's to the point they're like, no, 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 don't sit there. Beach gonna sit there.
Yeah.
You can sit somewhere
You
else.
know, it's so crazy that, when you say that, you have to be hyper alert and all that, I know you're fairly new to our channel, and what we do, but there's a lot of stories and interviews we've done with people that's been incarcerated. And when you're saying that, it sounds exactly the same in their story. Like every time, when I got out, I'll go to restaurants and I'll look for the exits and I'll look for, the best place to sit to have the best view. And it's like,
Yep.
like
I need
we've
to see
heard that
what's
so
coming.
many times. Yeah. That's so
That's
crazy.
what it
Yeah.
does. Because literally, whenever you have to be in a place where your life is on the line, your fear for your safety 24/7, it leaves a mark on you that never goes away.
Mm, mm,
Never goes away.
Oh man.
mm, mm.
Well,
But through all that, I managed to still get 3 degrees. I finally went to college.
ah,
I
you
I
showed
have
them.
I have an associate degree in medical assisting.
Yeah,
I have a
I was gonna ask you good now.
bachelor's.
So yeah, talk about what you're doing today. Everything. Tell about what you're doing today.
Yeah.
So I have an associate, a bachelor's, and a master's in business administration. And today I actually work for the state of Florida. I'm a local veteran employment representative, and I help find veterans jobs.
Ah, that's dope.
That's dope.
That's
So
dope.
I get to give back. And I work with veterans, which is nice because when you work with people that some have, some been there, it makes it a little easier because they understand a little better. So they know when, you know, don't come behind me because you might get elbowed in the face.
Yeah.
Don't start
Yeah.
on me because if I'm packing, you might get shot. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
but
that's the
it's
reality
a
of what
it's a
it's
new
life
way of
like for
life.
you. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and it's unfortunate that, yeah. I mean, I heard that, when you come back, they do offer you some sort of therapy, but it's on you whether or not you want to do it. Do you even feel like the therapy is even worth taking
What
with
they
them,
don't,
or is it
what
something
they
you feel like
feel,
you have to
what
deal with?
the problem is that what therapy does. Okay, so what most military people do is we take all those ugliness, right? And we stick it in a
Yeah.
box, and we take that box and we bury it as far as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Because that's what we have to do to be able to deal with day to day.
Yeah.
Therapy wants you to talk about it. They want to know your feelings. How did you feel? Motherfucker, what do
Mm.
you fucking think?
Mm.
And what
So in essence,
happens
it
is
almost worse.
when you talk about it, all the memories come back. So you talk about something and you're going to have nightmares for the next 2 to 3 months. And it's like, okay, so for the next 2 to 3 months, I'm going to be jumping out of my skin for any little thing, any little sound, anything. I'm going to be like, oh, what the hell's going on? So it's like, can you find a therapy that is actually going to work,
Yeah.
that I'm not going to be jumping out of my skin? Because I've
Yeah.
gone to therapy. I've done extensive therapy. I'm still in therapy, and I tell my therapist, I'm not ready to talk about that. So let's work around it.
Yeah.
It's like, give me a way to work around it till I can get to it. And it's very difficult
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
because
you was able to still, get your degrees and still move forward, as much as possible. Like that's
not
dope. I definitely
easy. I
commend
will
you.
tell you, it's not easy having a migraine, having to, go back to school when you have to read something 5 times and you still don't remember it because your brain is not retaining like it used to
Yeah.
because it doesn't work the same. But I made it through. So I always tell people, look, if
Yeah.
me with all my messed up shit and my New York City public school education
Yeah.
can
Hey,
get
hey, you
3
know what?
degrees,
Hey, you know what? It's
229.
can.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yep.
It's funny. You know what? It's funny you said that because I want to end this interview on like a super positive note, man. Because I know telling that story, like you said, you got to kind of relive it and you got to kind of think about it. I know you probably gonna be, but I appreciate you. You know what I mean, coming on. But now since we actually on 229, why don't we show a picture
Oh my
of
gosh, no,
I'm
where
getting
is
it
it?
right now. I'm getting it right now. Where is it?
I
Oh
got you right
my
here,
Oh,
Joe. I
oh,
got
no,
you.
that.
I got you.
Oh, you got it? Oh, here it goes. I think I got it right here.
oh my Hey, I had it
Oh, we
going
must have
on
put.
though. I was the shit.
Oh, no, no, no. That's not it.
Yeah, Joe, I got
No.
you right here.
There
Here
it
you go,
is.
Joe.
You do it. You do it. Yeah, there you go. I think
Hey, I was
you
the
could
shit.
draw in this. I don't know if y'all see her, but dead center in the middle.
With the
I wish I could
big,
point
big
to it.
hair.
All right, look at the center sign that has the school. And there's two girls, and then there's two girls behind her. When we looking at the picture, she's the one to the left, like she said, with the big hair, the tall one. Cause you
And
was
big
tall
earrings.
for her age.
Yes,
And the
I
big
was.
earrings. I'm only 5'6", so you was always tall.
Oh
That's
yeah.
dope, though, yeah.
Now
And
we also got some other pictures of you. Maybe some of your good
well,
memories.
no, no, no. We put it together. We put it together in the clip
All right,
in the video. I uploaded it, so
all
let's
right.
play that right there because I want to see this. This is dope. Even though Mo kind of blew it up around here, but here you go. We put this together for you, and we hope you enjoyed this right here.
Thank you for that video. That was amazing.
Proud, man.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done, all the sacrifices you made for us. I know it feels like at times that we're not grateful for what you guys do, but I am 100% grateful, and I definitely appreciate the
It
sacrifices
was
you
still
made on
my
our
honor and
behalf.
my pleasure always.
And VG, I'll never.
I know.
VG, y'all seen the picture? Y'all seen the picture? You think I'll be the same VG? Nah. But before we go, man.
Yeah, so we always try to, once again, I want to thank you. You know what I'm saying? Is there any social media that you have that you might want people to reach out to you?
I'm on WhatsApp.
Like,
That's pretty much it. I mean,
That's
and now
what's up.
YouTube.
and now you too.
And that's what's up. You know what I mean? And so now, there's a new recruit, and they're about to come to their first day of service or whatever, basic training, whatever. What type of message would you tell them?
Only join if it's in your heart, if it's what you truly want to do, and if you truly want to serve your country, because it is a devotion to more than oneself. It is literally wanting to, our motto in the Marine Corps is, adapt and overcome. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't love your country, if you're not joining the military because you want to be there and you want to take care of those who can't take care of themselves and fight for those who can't fight for themselves, please don't do it, because you're going to hate it, and it's going to be a waste of your time, and it's going to be just awful, because I hate it when I hear people say, oh, I just joined to go to school, or I just joined for this. Don't do that. You can get schooling without having loans. You can get a job that'll pay for your school. But this is a dedication from your heart to our beloved country, to that United States flag. That United States flag means freedom. It means that you can sleep at night and you don't have to have a guarded post at your door.
Yeah.
It means that you can lay your head down, you can let your kids play outside, and you don't have to worry about somebody's going to come and shoot them, or a stray bullet's going to come somewhere because some enemy or the neighbor doesn't like you and just wants to take you out, like in a lot of other countries outside of the US. There is a lot of hatred for people that look just like they should be brothers and sisters. And they hate each other because they're from one side of the road and you're from the other side of the road, which makes you, you're Pakistani or you're Albanian and I'm Iranian, so we don't like you. But when you look at us, we could be the same people.
Yeah.
So if it's from the heart, if it's something that you really want to do, it's an adventure. It is the most wonderful adventure you can embark on, because you get to see the world for free. You're working, but you still get to see the world. I've seen most of Europe. Who can say that they've been to Spain, Italy, Turkey, Kosovo? I've been to Japan. I mean,
North Carolina.
that's just, and the states too. The states are cool. North armpit of the U.S., Jacksonville, North Carolina, Onslow County.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's still, no matter what, even though there were some not great times that I went through and some hard times, I still would never, ever give up the experience. I would do it all over again, given the opportunity, because it has made me who I am today, and it has helped me overcome so many more things than I can even think of. It's an experience. And the Marine Corps, hey, with America's 911 force, I knew what I was joining. I knew I was going to be first in line. I knew I was going to be first one on the ground and last one out. Because that's how the Marines are. Anything that needs to be done, the Marine Corps is there. and we get it done. And we have wonderful, beautiful history. The Marine Corps is one of the branches that we pride ourselves on our devotion to duty, and our history speaks for itself. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube, I think it's a YouTube or Facebook or something, where Marines in dress blues. Now, let me explain to you how much dress blues cost. That blue jacket is $300 without the buttons, without all the bells and whistles that go to it. There was a woman stuck in a vehicle in a flood, and there was a bus full of Marines in their dress blues that came out in waist deep water to get her out.
Wow.
You don't see that every day. But if there is,
I had to find that video.
Yes, if there is a need, we will be there, and we never ever walk away from helping someone.
That's dope.
So that's why I can say I'm a big badass Marine for the rest of my life.
Hell yeah. You earned it. You definitely earned it.
3 months of boot
And
camp.
like I yeah. Like I said, I mean, you definitely. Oh, I can imagine. I have cousins that's in the Marines and Army and all that, and yeah, they told me about it. But like I said, we definitely respect what you've done. You know, you earned every bit of it. You know, nothing was given to you. You made a lot of sacrifice, and for you, it was for the greater cause. And again, we salute that, and we really appreciate it. We really, really appreciate it. We really appreciate you coming on the show and, you know, telling your story. I know it was hard, you know, to relive this, but hopefully this message could get out to somebody. The pleasure was ours, but hopefully this message could get out and, you know, help somebody.
That's why I do it, because I know that it could possibly help someone else. And I know that I am not alone, because there's a lot of people out there going through worse than I went through. And if it can just help one person, just, you know, that's enough. And I still smile, and I'm not bitter, and I'm still a happy person. So
we got to take a road trip out to Florida.
Yes,
I need some of that cooking too. You know, the legend. I got to see the legend of Mama's cooking.
Mommy will definitely hook it up.
Oh, man. Road trip, man. But you're part of the iTalk family now. So if there's anything you need, you need us to, you know, push or anything, you know, make sure you reach out to us.
I will.
As always, if they only knew, if they only knew. We definitely gonna have you back on. Yeah, 229. If they only knew. Well, man, we appreciate you. We're definitely gonna have you come back on, and you know, keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting the good fight. All right.
Will do. Thank you. Bye, guys. Take care.
On this side. All right.
When you see me, then we gon' see.
Wait, hold up. You telling me you never heard about iTalk?
Nah, man.
If they only knew?
Nah, I haven't.
Come on, man. Joe Chapo.
Man, let me see.
Right on the hill?
Nah.
Yeah, the ones from the Bronx.
What?
Man, they're the truth of the streets.
For real?
Watch.
Man, let me see that
Look
shit.
at this.
Yo, I see that shit. Oh, shit.
New York till they die.
What?
Rapping every day.
BX?
Oh, come on, man.
Man, let me see that.
I talk, you watch. Coming in hot from the BS to the block. We got Joe Chapo and Lot on the hill. You know the drill. Hit the like button, you know the deal. Yeah, we the truth of the streets. If they only knew.